Hello everyone, in today's video lecture, I am going to discuss a very interesting things that what's the role of our sex chromosome to identify the sex of transgender people. We all know that we are having 23rd pair of chromosome. Now, this 23rd pair of chromosome is actually responsible for the sexual differentiation or the sexual identification. Now, if you talk about male, they are having two types of sperm which is consisted X chromosome and sperm which is consisted Y chromosome. Now, if you talk about female, they are having only X chromosome, ovum which is consisted X, and the ovum which is consisted X. That means they are having only X chromosome. But in case of male, they are having two types of sperm which is consisted X chromosome and the sperm which is consisted Y chromosome. Now, when a sperm of X chromosome will diffuse with the ovum which are already having the X chromosome, then they will form a girl child. They will form a girl child. Now, when the sperm which is consisted Y chromosome will diffuse with the ovum which is already consisted X chromosome, they will form a boy child. We all know this matter. But if you look at this scenario, the Y chromosome is playing a crucial role to identification the sex of newborn baby. Will it be a girl child or will it be a boy child? Even will it be a transgender child? Now, how Y chromosome play a crucial role? Let's suppose this is our Y chromosome, and in case of Y chromosome, there is a special site. There is present a special type of gene which is known as the SRY gene. Now, what is the function of SRY gene? The main function of SRY gene is to produce the testis. Is to produce the testis. Now, testis is the main characteristics of a male. As the Y chromosome is consisted with the SRY gene, and the main function of SRY gene is to produce the testis, that's why due to the diffusion of Y chromosome and the X ovum, they will form a boy child. On the other hand, as the X chromosome is not consistent with the SRY gene, that's why there is not any chance to produce testis. That's why the child which is born due to the diffusion of X chromosome, due to the diffusion of sperm which is consisted with X chromosome and the ovum which is consisted with X chromosome, they will form the girl child. So this is what is the reason. Now I have to talk about the transgender people. To understand this matter, at first you have to know little bit about the central dogma. Now, what is the central dogma? Central dogma is a simple process, the production of protein. But the protein will produce from the DNA. Let's suppose this is our DNA. This is our DNA. And from the DNA, by the process of transcription, they will form RNA. And from the RNA, by the process of transcription, they will form our protein. Now, this whole process is known as the central dogma. Now, to produce this protein, we have to necessary the DNA. Now, to make this availability of DNA, the DNA will replicate itself and it will produce the same DNA. Now, the conversion of DNA to DNA is known as the replication. During this replication, there will occur some changes. Now, changes may be very big and changes may be very light. If during the time of replication there will occur light changes, we consider it as a mutation. And if there will occur very big changes in DNA, then we call that as a recombination. Okay. Now, the SRY gene is generally consisted an amino acid, a positively charged amino acid, which is known as the methionine, which is a positively charged amino acid. Why positively charged? Because we all know, let's suppose this is our single stranded RNA, and we all know this is our hydrogen bond. We all know DNA is consisted negative charge. Now, to bind with this DNA, the particles should be positive. That's why the amino acid, which is the methionine, is positive in charge. Okay. So the SRY gene is generally consisted positively charged amino acid, which is known as the methionine. But during the time of replication, there will occur some changes in SRY gene. During the time of replication, there will occur some changes in SRY gene, and these changes is light changes. And due to these changes, and as you know, the light changes is known as the mutation. And due to this mutation, the methionine will convert into the isoleucine, which is also an amino acid. But the general structure of SRY gene is disturbed due to the conversion of methionine to isoleucine. Now, this disturbance will occur due to the replication of DNA of Y chromosome. Okay. Now, when there will occur the mutation of SRY gene, at the time the SRY gene will not able to produce the testis. As you all know, the main function of SRY gene to produce testis, but due to the replication, the methionine of SRY gene will convert into the isoleucine, and due to this process, the function of SRY gene will also disturb, and at the time it will not able to produce the testes. And as it will not able to produce the testes, the X chromosome will be dominant over the Y chromosome. Okay, the function of Y chromosome is not working over here. The function of X chromosome will be dominant, and as in this case the X chromosome is active, that's why it will not produce the boy child. It will produce the girl child. Okay, I want to repeat it again. Generally, the boy child is constituted X and Y chromosome. Now, we have to see just the function of Y chromosome. Y chromosome is having the SRY gene. Now, the function of SRY gene is to produce the testis. And as the testis is the testis of boy child, that's why due to the diffusion of sperm which is constituted with Y chromosome, and due to the diffusion with the ovum which is constituted with X chromosome, it will form the boy child. But when there will occur some mutation in SRY gene, the methionine of SRY gene will convert into the isoleucine, which is also an amino acid. But due to the conversion, the general structure of SRY gene will be disturbed. And as the general structure of SRY gene will be disturbed, there will occur some functionally disturbance, and the testes will not produce by the SRY gene. And as there will not producing the testes by the SRY gene, that means the Y chromosome will also inactive, but the X chromosome is still not active. That's why the X chromosome will be dominant over Y chromosome, and still as it constitutes the X and Y chromosome, and as Y chromosome is functionally inactive, and due to the presence of X chromosome, the boy child will not born. It will be a girl child. Okay, I think it's clear now. Now, in this case, the baby which will born, it will anatomically it will be girl, but phenotypically it will be boy. So this is one kind of transgender. Okay, now look at over here. Sometimes it can be observed that the X chromosome is also constituted the X chromosome. Let's suppose right now this is our X chromosome. This is not our Y chromosome. Let's suppose this is our X chromosome. It can be seen that generally SRY gene is found in the Y chromosome, but sometimes SRY gene is also found in the X chromosome. This is when the SRY gene is found in the X chromosome, and we know that the function of SRY gene is to produce the testes. If the SRY gene will found into the X chromosome, then the X chromosome will started to produce the testes due to the presence of SRY gene. Due to the presence of SRY gene, X chromosome will start to produce the testes. And if there will produce the testes, definitely the child which will born, it will be anatomically boy. Okay, so now in this case, the child which will born, it will be anatomically boy, but phenotypically it will girl. Okay, I want to repeat all this mechanism again. We are having 23rd pair of chromosome, and this 23rd pair of chromosome, the last pair, 23rd pair chromosome, is responsible for the sexual identification. In case of male, generally they are having two types of sperm. There is the X chromosome consisting sperm and the Y chromosome consisting sperm, and the female having only the X chromosome consisting ovum. When the sperm of X chromosome will diffuse with the ovum, which already is constituted X chromosome, they will form the girl child. And when the sperm of Y chromosome will diffuse with the ovum, they will form a boy child. Now, if you look at this whole mechanism, the Y chromosome play a great role to identification the sex of a child. Okay, so why the Y chromosome will play a greatest role? Actually, this Y chromosome is constituted the SRY gene, and the main function of SRY gene is to produce testes. That's why, due to the diffusion of this X and Y chromosome, they will form a boy child. But if there will occur some changes due to the mutation of Y chromosome, the general structure of SRY gene will be disturbed. And due to this disturbance, the function of Y chromosome will be inactive, and there will active the X chromosome, and due to this reason, the child which will born will be anatomically girl but phenotypically boy, but anatomically girl. Now, in this case, sometimes this SRY gene will found into the X chromosome. Sometimes this SRY gene will found into the X chromosome, but this is the exception. This is the exception. But when the SRY gene will found into the X chromosome, the SRY gene or the X chromosome will started to produce the testis. And we know that the main function of the testis is the characteristics of a boy child. That's why the child which will born, it will be anatomically boy and phenotypically girl. I think this much is sufficient to know that how exactly our sex chromosome is responsible to identify the sex of transgender people. This is what about the sense of sexual differentiation of transgender people.